Hello, my name is Richard Collins and I'm the founder of CSR Accreditation, the only accreditation body in the world for social responsibility. Today, I'd like to talk to you about driving forward successful business and how PAs, EAs and VAs are the perfect enablers for responsible business. But I'd like to start off a bit about me. My background is a branding background, and I like to say that your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. In other words, it is all about reputation, about word of mouth, about referral, about how other organizations or individuals see your business and communicate that to others. I think that social responsibility and sustainability is the modern branding, and very much organizations and individuals, all stakeholders in fact, are viewing organizations and companies around how they deliver their social and sustainable credentials. The trend, I think, started in terms of the consumer perception back with the Blue Planet when David Attenborough talked about plastics in the ocean. And this very much became a starting point for people to look at other social issues like Me Too and Black Lives Matter. And more, we as individuals were coming into the workplaces and starting to think about how our business can be better, how our business can be more responsible, how our business can be more accountable. Therefore, it's important to have an effective social responsibility policy. This is now essential to every business. I think perhaps 5 years ago, this may have been a nice to have. But now it is so important that you have a policy that shows that you are delivering on your social responsibility initiatives. CSRA has established a new relevant and holistic framework that delivers an up-to-date standard for social responsibility. You may not have heard about CSR, or you may know about CSR, corporate social responsibility as it has been called in the past. But we wanted to set a new standard for social responsibility, one that says that social responsibility allows you to enrich the quality of lives for all by investing in social value as an essential part of an organization's culture. This provides purpose and impact and will ensure a sustainable and profitable business. It will also help build a better world for future generations by improving the environment and ensuring a cohesive community to live and work in. And below that, we have the challenging the C in CSR, the ability to look at the inclusive C and how that C can be about all of us. And I'm going to look at that in a little bit more detail. And of course, the 4 pillars of environment, workplace, community, and philanthropy. Social responsibility should be for every organization. It is a question of challenging the C by changing its definition depending upon the intended audience. The C must be more inclusive. And from my point of view, social responsibility should be about the individuals within the organization. It is about the people. It's about allowing us to have a say in how our organization presents its socially responsible and sustainable credentials. So to that end, we wanted to, challenge the C to remove the word corporate as the main dominator in CSR and actually think about company social responsibility for the private sector, community social responsibility for the public sector, charitable social responsibility for the third sector. Of course, consumer social responsibility, citizen social responsibility, collective social responsibility. And I think best of all is that sense of collaborative social responsibility, the ability for us all to pull together to deliver huge impacts. And I'm a great fan of showing how we can do little things. We don't need to make grand gestures. We can leave that for the governments and the big corporates, but we can make small gestures that collectively add up to big and huge impacts. And supporting all of that, as I've mentioned earlier, are the 4 pillars of environment, workplace, community, and philanthropy. And this framework is a very eloquent framework for you to look at what you are already doing in your business today. I think we can identify things that we are doing against each of these pillars already. So it's not a question of something that we might have to do in the future. It's just about auditing or benchmarking what we are doing now. And we can break that down into 5 subsections for each pillar, just to help you think about what your organization is doing. So under environment, we can look at waste, supply chain management, energy, natural resources, and travel. And under the community pillar, we can look at engagement, working with local issues, wealth creation, projects and groups, and education. So community is very much about local economic investment, recruiting locally, about place. And under the workplace, we are looking at training, labor practices, ethical practices, governance, and policies like mental health and well-being, or diversity and inclusion. How are we looking after our staff? How are we encouraging them to do better? How are we providing skills training, and how are we recognizing their value in the organization? And finally, philanthropy or charitable endeavors. So charitable involvement through volunteering, pro bono work, fundraising, financial and gifts in kind, perhaps allowing members of staff to have a day off a year, for example, to deliver some training. And the nice thing about these pillars is that they all are interactive. So for example, you could be working with a local charity around the environment. That could be a team building day for your staff. And that could be supporting the community. So in other words, you could be doing something that looks at each of those pillars and brings them all together. So this really is a holistic approach to addressing CSR commitments. And I like to talk about social responsibility in the full and CSR when referring to community, charity, company, climate, collaborative, however you want to describe it. The CSR accreditation that we provide is the opportunity for you as an organization to be independently recognized and validated for the good work that you're doing. And we like to think that this sits at the center of a universe that allows you to tap into the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which we'll look at in a brief minute. The sustainability program around environmental sustainability. Look at the ESGs, the environment, social and governance reporting, which you may have heard of. Think about climate change and address social value. And what we've tried to do is map those pillars. So we've mapped our 4 pillars of environment, workplace, philanthropy, and community to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. This is something that any organization can look at, pick the ones that are relevant to their organization and sign up to. So you become part of a bigger movement, delivering measurable and evidenced impact. We're not expecting every organization to pick all 17, that will never happen. But there may be 1, 2, 3 or 4 of these that resonate with your organization that you can go and look at. We have also mapped the 4 pillars against the environment, social and governance. Environment, social and governance are a methodology in which the financial markets measure risk and opportunity with organizations. So we have our environment, workplace and community philanthropy looking at the different pillars of environment, social and governance. And what we've tried to do is make a distinction between CSR and ESG. The fact that there is a symbiotic relationship between the two. CSR is about building a strong organizational culture. It's about our people, staff engagement, staff retention, attracting talent, tendering, reputation and customers. We'll look at that in some detail. It's about environmental and shared social value and purpose delivered through those environmental and social issues that we are aware of. And this all feeds into the ESG agenda about identifying and qualifying risk and opportunities. The audience predominantly for ESG reporting will be the board of directors, the company executives, the senior management, shareholders and investors. The reporting may not involve the people, but may represent the organization that they work for. And this is really about how business might be transitioning in the future to have a reduced impact on the environment, to improve its governance and to improve its social engagement. But there has been a change in mindset. COVID-19 has been a game changer. And I think we can all appreciate that pre-COVID, the world is a very different place with regards to our attitudes to work. If we look at the shift to hybrid working, we look at the shift to reduce travel, the way we use Zoom and so on and so forth. But it also made us think about our communities. It made us as individuals think about what is important, our neighbours, the community we live and work in, the businesses, charities, the world that we want to leave for future generations. And so we have kind of emerged from COVID with a different set of ideas about how we want the future to be. It is life, Jim, but not as we know it. The new normal, what will business look like in the near future? And I want to caveat that by thinking about the old normal, the fact that actually we got so caught up in our digital lifestyles, the pace that we ran at, we kind of didn't have time to think about the world around us. And in many ways, the COVID pandemic has introduced us to an old normal that we had forgotten about. But it has also introduced a new normal in the way we are going to approach the future. So what will your business look like? Remote or flexible working? Will it be based in a business premises? Different sectors will face different challenges, whether it's manufacturing or agriculture, or whether it's high street and retail. And there are changing customer needs and requirements, digital versus face-to-face, and those changing values around environmental, social, and people. So the impact of COVID-19, will the workplace be ever the same again? Will ever be the same again? And I don't think it will be. We have already seen those shifts, and there is a sense of social responsibility aligned with that shift. So for example, with flexible and hybrid working, who is responsible for the home worker in terms of health and safety, in terms of bills, in terms of bringing people together and providing that kind of team cuddle or huddle that engages each other in the workplace. The good news is that social responsibility is about emotional investment. CSR is about something good, and it makes you feel good because you feel that you are doing something positive. So use a CSR strategy to protect and grow your biggest asset, your employees. According to a Gallup poll in 2019 around engagement, in the UK, only 11% of the UK workforce were engaged in their work, with 68% not engaged and a 21% actively disengaged. And according to the same poll, the 3 key drivers for engagement in the workplace was number 1, purpose, a sense of social value. Number 2, it was autonomy, being able to have an opinion or a say about how your organization runs. And number 3, it was about being recognized and valued as a member of staff. Interestingly enough, the 2 big turn-offs with regards to engagement was poor brand reputation and poor governance, poor leadership. Neither of these things are about money. They are about having a good place to work. And we have seen, no doubt, an attitude from degree students going into the workplace, choosing companies with a good corporate governance, a good corporate background, a good place to work over, in some cases, wage. But I do want to talk about that return on social investment to make this something that is commercially viable as well. Of course, we do have to satisfy the fact that the business is there to make money. So we want to measure that return on investment. And we look at 2 areas. Social responsibility is no doubt a new profit center. And why is this? Well, the future shape of business will be measured in both financial and social value. There is that return on social investment, and I'm going to show how that comes into play. And a social return on investment, the fact that we deliver social value as well, which you can't necessarily put a price on. So the first thing really is about engaging and supporting staff. As EAs, BAs and VAs, it is about having that helicopter view within your organization, having the ear of the chief executive and the senior management teams, and having an idea on how you can create engagement and better productivity within the organization. Social responsibility is a great way for engaging and supporting staff. It's something that they can be part of, and it taps into their sense of individual purpose and value. Every one of us as human beings has something we care about, something that we're passionate about. And if our businesses can embrace that and encourage that and build that into our work lives, then we are going to be so much more engaged, and that engagement will improve productivity. And a huge area that we're seeing, especially in the UK at the moment, is around retention. There are certain sectors that are struggling to retain their people. Post-pandemic, we had the mass resignation as individuals coming out of furlough decided they wanted to do something different, something that had more purpose and value. And retention has become a very, very big issue, because if you cannot retain staff, then you're going to have to bring people in and train them again. And there's a cost to that in time and finance. So we have discovered that actually retention is delivered through delivering social value and sustainability within the organization. People will prefer to stay with a business that has that good corporate culture, that engages them and makes them feel that they are part of a solution, that they are contributing to doing something right. And of course, recruitment. An insight into the future of value-driven recruitment has shown that the next generation of talent are looking for something very different in the businesses that they want to work for. Degree students are 5 or 6 years ago were predominantly going into law and financial practices. At the end of last year, according to the UK's universities, a study revealed that they were going into the third sector and public sector, into businesses where they felt that they were doing something positive. And so organisations that don't have that culture, that sense that they are doing the right thing, will not attract the talent to come and join their businesses. And it's not just the young, it's also people towards the end of their careers that are thinking that they might want to do something different, that their business isn't engaging them in the way that delivers that sense of purpose and value. And this is a very, very real thing, especially as the skills gaps gets bigger. And of course, in the UK, we have a huge amount of vacancies, despite having the best employment for years, suggesting that there aren't enough positions and not enough people to do the jobs. And therefore, it's very important for organisations to keep hold of their people and to attract the talent to work for their businesses, to deliver that long-term sustainability and profitability for their organisation. And of course, there's operational cost savings, better financial performance by doing something very simple. Close the doors, shut windows if it's cold, turn computers off at the wall, don't leave them on standby. Think about cycling to work rather than using transport, car sharing schemes. All of these things can equate to reduced operational savings. For example, if you recycle and you reuse and you refurbish and you reduce your impact on landfill, then you won't have the landfill tax. If you turn the lights off, if you turn your computers off, if you shut doors, then you can reduce your energy bills if you shift to LED lights. The end of 2020, the UK showed a 20% decrease in its national electricity bill, simply because of a shift towards LED lights in the workplace. And this is car dealerships, theatres, showrooms, concert halls, football stadiums, and so on and so forth. So it's possible to make these big differences, and they have an impact on your bottom line. And businesses can improve their public image by supporting charities and community projects. It's so important to engage with the community in the way that you can support a local charity, a small charity. And we often say it's not what a business can do for a charity, it's how a charity can help a business engage its staff, show that leadership, create that engagement, deliver team building programming, and also allow that company to show what good looks like by supporting the community and the charity in a way that delivers measurable and evidenced impact. And this all has an impact on your positive business reputation. Back to where I was at the beginning about this is all about reputation, and that people will make decisions about your business based upon how your business is performing. And it creates phenomenal media coverage. It's a great way to tell stories. And the perfect thing about social responsibility is that it's positive narrative. But with every good storytelling, you must show the good story doing. And we'll move on to talk about how we measure, record, and communicate the impacts that we're making. And finally, in this section, it's about accessing capital as well. There is no doubt that with tendering, showing your sustainable and social responsibility credentials will help you win tenders. In the public sector, some tenders are weighted up to 30 points towards the social value and the sustainability credentials. So, what is the cost effectively of not winning a tender? Now, if we look at that return on social investment, what is the cost of not retaining staff, not engaging people, not attracting talent, not having a good reputation, not winning tenders? It all stacks up, and that really has an impact on your bottom line. So it is about accessing capital through investment, through merger, through acquisition. And of course, this all taps into becoming ESG compliant. So by delivering a framework against those 4 pillars and that inclusive C, you then have the ability to show ESG compliance should your organization need to go down the route of ESG reporting. CSR and ESG are both excellent business concepts for the planet and for the people. They have nothing but positive impacts if done correctly. And if the right individuals, the enablers within the organization, are identified and supported to deliver a program that runs year after year after year. So it is about planning social responsibility as a business strategy. And I do believe that the EA, BA and PAs are the perfect enablers within the organization to kind of look at how that strategy can be delivered. So it is about understanding that framework and being able to look at what the organization is doing. And in the case of larger businesses, it might be talking to different departments like HR, like facilities, like accounts, to think about what they're doing and the information that they have at their fingertips. So you can start to audit and report on what your organization is doing today. And it's building your strategy around your company's core competencies as well. So, identify the kind of business you are, and then think about how that might align with some of the initiatives that you're going to do in the future. So, for example, if you're into IT, you have an IT business, it might be looking at how you can help with digital poverty in the local community. If you're, for example, in accountancy, it might be how do you support young people with understanding their accounts to help them face the future, because it's not something they necessarily learn at school or university. So, what is your business doing and how can you align that with projects in the community around how you engage with your stakeholders? So you can build your strategy around your company's core competencies. And then putting that together to deliver that CSR policy. So it's about that inclusivity in identifying your own key CSR stakeholders. And I believe that PA, EA, and VA area is an area in which you can, be the enablers, be the stakeholders within the organization. Now you can pull together a strategy that helps your business show what good looks like. So it simply is a case of being able to sit down, create a steering group or a small committee, meet every several months or every several weeks or whatever it might be, and think about what you've done in the past, what you need to do in the future, and how you're going to deliver the impacts and how you're going to communicate those impacts to all audiences. Because the most important part of this is how you record and report on your CSR successes. It's how you pull together the information so that you can then post something on LinkedIn about LED lights, or about how you've got an apprenticeship scheme, or how you developed a cycle to work policy. So you can bring all those stories together, you report them, put them into your newsletters, put them onto your website, put them into a social impact report, have something published that you can share with everybody. Because by showing the impact your CSR policy has made, you show that you are making a difference. And the true value of sustainable and socially responsible activities is showing the impact you make. And there's a great way in which you can measure that impact and record it and report it, so you know that you're delivering on that financial value and on that true social value. It's about being better, becoming better. This is a phrase used by Aristotle, over 3,500 years old. And I think it gives an insight into the human condition that basically, we want to be better, we want to become better, we want to do the right thing. So if your organization has an equal opportunity policy, or are you a good neighbor in your local community, or do you operate a responsible supply chain? Does your communicator implement a recycling policy, or do you support good causes or goodwill initiatives? If you're doing any of these things, then you're already well on your way for being independently recognised and validated for your sustainable and socially responsibility initiatives. It's very easy to achieve it in CSR accreditation, and we provide workshops and training to help you put together the information that your organisation has already. As I've said, it's amazing what we are already doing that we don't talk about. And CSR accreditation, by definition, ensures ESG compliance. It will help align you with your sustainable development goals. It will help you address your social value, and it will help you look at your sustainability programming. So you can build that long-term profitability and sustainability as an organisation. And to support that, we provide bespoke training for VAs, PAs and EAs. It will help you learn the benefits of CSR, explore the law, the guidance and the regulations, develop an understanding of a good CSR strategy, develop a stakeholder and internal engagement, and the importance of understanding and measuring impact and communicating that to all relevant stakeholders. So start your CSR journey now and plan for a future success. This is what you can do for your organisation. You have the perfect position within your organisation to pull this together and to help your business show what good looks like. For more information, you can find out more on our website, csr-accreditation.co.uk. You can register to become accredited, totally free, and it will give you access to a completely free guide to CSR accreditation. And you can go on and subscribe to our training by going onto our training pages. The training runs every month, but we also do run bespoke training for EA, VAs and PAs through different membership groups. So please do get in contact to find out more. And I hope that has been a useful introduction into sustainability and social responsibility and CSR accreditation. Thank you very much for your time.